Hello, beautiful friends and book lovers. I hope that you are all doing well. If you are new to my channel here at Heather's Book Review, I mainly read and review thrillers. That's my absolute favorite genre, with the occasional mystery, dramatic suspense novel, and then the very rare, but it does happen, super hyped up fiction novel. So if you're new to my channel, I always tell you what I'm going to be reviewing today, what my next review will be, and then I always have a non-spoiler review and tell you what I rated the book, and then a book chat towards the end of the video for those of us who have read said novel. So for today, I will be reviewing His and Hers, which is written by Alice Feeney. It is her latest novel, and it is so freaking good. I cannot wait to tell you guys about it. And my next review is going to be on A Boy from the Woods, which is written by Harlan Coben. I swear, I hope I'm saying that right. I actually listened to both of these on Amazon Audible, and I was really happy with both experiences. Today, I am coming at you with a psychological thriller that I just listened to on Amazon Audible called His and Hers, which is written by Alice Feeney. This is the first book of Alice's that I have read. I have had Sometimes I Lie in my cart for forever, and then I think she has another book that was even more recent than that was like, I'm not quite sure of the title, but I'm going to go ahead and put a still of it up here for you. But I've been eyeing both of those books, but I know His and Hers was recently released, I think in March, I want to say. If I'm wrong, I'll put the correction somewhere over here. But I am so glad that I chose this book because it's amazing. So I'm just going to go ahead and get into the premise of His and Hers. So, and like I said, I listened to this on Amazon Audible, and let me just get into it. So right when you start reading or listening to the book, you are listening or reading from the killer's perspective. And what I liked about this, listening to this book, was the voice has a voiceover for the voice. So you can't tell if it's a woman or you can't tell if it's a male, and it just is such a creepy sounding voice. So right when the book started, you're listening to the killer's point of view, and my skin was just already crawling. We follow our main character, Anna, who was a news anchor for a channel, but then when she started her job, she took over for another girl, and then that girl came back and they were like, sorry, Anna, we want the other girl to be the main news anchor again, so we're gonna need you to step down. And she was just distraught because you find out that she did have a daughter and an ex-husband, but she's no longer married, and she just lives alone. She's really bummed because not only did she lose her job, but she was going to cover this story of a chain of murders that have been happening around town. And then you find out our other main character, Jack, who's a detective on the case, is actually Anna's ex-husband. So they're just kind of going back and forth in the beginning of the story. You know, he's more so like, you have no right to cover this story, and guys, it's so freaking good. So these women that keep dying are all connected. And when they find the murdered women at the murder site, you see this strange friendship bracelet that's on all of the women. And then some of them have messages painted on their nails, like two-faced or liar. And you're trying to figure out, okay, who has a motive to kill all of these girls? Is this something from the past? Is it, you know, were the women doing something, you know, sneaky, and this one person just kind of got fed up with it? Like, it's almost like you're being pulled from one side to the other. And guys, this book is so good. So I do just want to mention that this book talks about, a lot of different types of abuse. So I do just want to say, if you don't like to read books that mention, you know, there's mentions of animal abuse, child abuse, domestic abuse, those parts were a little heavier to read. So just know that going into it, that yes, it's a psychological thriller, but there are some heavy topics that are brought up in this book for sure. And it just wasn't like one or two. I mean, it's multiple things are talked about in this book. So that's just my little warning for that piece. Okay, so I do have to add that unfortunately this book was spoiled for me, which really stinks because I was like 40% of the way through, and I always like to post on my Instagram stories. If you don't follow me on Instagram, follow me. It's at Heather's Book Review. I'll put that somewhere here for you. But I always like to post what book I'm reading or what Audible book I'm listening to. So I posted that I was listening to this, and a lovely friend wrote back and was like, oh, I'm reading this right now too. And I had said something like, yeah, we're going to have to, chat about the ending when we're both done. So that person finished before me and they thought that I was done with it. So then they were like, oh my gosh, I can't believe so-and-so was the killer. Like, didn't see that coming. And I was like, no, I'm not even like halfway through yet. But guys, this book has probably made my top, I don't know, I've read so many good thriller books this year. It's definitely top 5 for sure. And that is with it being spoiled. So I feel like that says a lot. Like, I knew who the killer was 40% of the way in, but I would have never been able to predict who the killer was at all. And like, I guess that part kind of, like, looking at this positively, that part was a little fun for me because then I like knew who the killer was and I was trying to figure it out. I'm like, okay, does the author give us a lot of clues? And honestly, she really doesn't. Like, I would have been very surprised if I figured out who the killer was on my own. Okay, so now I'm going to tell you what I rated the book. Honestly, this book is getting a 5 out of 5 on Goodreads for me and probably a 9 out of 10 personal rating. I could not find a lot of fault with this book. And like I said, I really wish it wasn't spoiled for me. But you know what? Sometimes that happens. I just feel like obviously the experience would have been a little bit different. It may have been a 10 out of 10 for me. There were some parts of the book where I just wanted it to speed up a little teeny tiny bit. But honestly, that's the only flaw I can see with this book. It is so good. And I am recommending this to all of you thriller fans and lovers out there because you will not be disappointed with this one. All right, so now I'm going to get into the book chat part of the video for those of us who have read. So before you leave, I would love if you could hit that subscribe button and click that post notification bell so you are notified every single time I post a bookish related video or review. Okay guys, so if you're here right now, that means that you've listened and or read this book. Wasn't it so freaking good? I just have to say, when all of her friends from, like the group photo started dying and she was the last survivor, at this point, I already knew who the killer was, obviously, as I've said many times in this video, but I would have been stumped. For the longest time, I was really thinking it was Zoe before I knew who it actually was because, I don't know, I was just getting like this weird sisterly vibe from her, but I was like, okay, maybe the group like wasn't the nicest to her and she's, going to be really vengeful. And I think there was something weird that she had said to Jack one night. Oh yeah, she just like looked at him deadpan and was like, well, that's because I'm the killer. And I don't know, I got goosebumps at that time because I was like, maybe she actually is the killer. Part of me too was really suspicious of Priya. I got more suspicious for her, towards the middle of the book. And I don't know, I was getting the vibe that she was really into Jack and maybe she just wanted to get revenge from, on all of these girls for some reason. I'm not sure, but I feel like had I not known who the killer was, I probably would have suspected Priya for the majority of the book. So how did you guys feel with that? Were you leaning towards Zoe or Priya, or did you think it was Anna? I know that this is a very common trend in thrillers, especially psychological thrillers and suspense novels, where either the woman, mainly the woman, is dealing with some sort of alcohol abuse problem. And obviously Anna was having, her character did have a drinking problem here. So I don't know, part of me was like, maybe she's drinking a lot and she's, taking pills on the side and it's not mixing well. But leave in the comments below who you were suspecting, I should say. I guess my last piece was that, like, I don't know about you guys, and like I said, I really recommend listening to this book too. If you just want to, I know you guys have obviously read it if you're listening to me now, but if you want a good audiobook experience, this one just is so creepy, okay? It's just so creepy. But I just had this feeling that the killer was a woman. I feel like Alice Feeney was trying to steer us away, especially when she was watching Rachel and Jack like sleep together, and she said something like, you know, how the woman body looks or something. I don't know. I feel like we were supposed to be getting a hint that the killer was a male, but I had this feeling that it was a woman the whole time. So I'm curious what you guys thought about that as well. But that pretty much sums up all of my thoughts on His and Hers. I thought it was very well written. I like when the book gets a little like gritty like that, you know what I mean? And I felt like Alice Feeney did not shy away from giving us a bunch of details. So I really enjoyed it. I'm definitely going to be checking out other books from her. And thank you so much for watching. Please leave in the comments below what you thought about this book. Let's chat on Goodreads and Instagram. I'm going to link both of those in the description box below. And I will see you in my next review, which is A Boy from the Woods. So I'll put a little still of that here for you too. Yeah, so I'll see you in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, you guys.